Welcome to Veteran to Veteran. I'm Conrad Kaskowski with the American Legion Post here in Plymouth, Wisconsin, and with me is Dwayne Wick. And Dwayne, you go ahead and explain yourself.
Okay. Well, we usually talk about our hats. Conrad is a blue hatter, being with the local with our post level. My hat is white because I'm with the department, and I was appointed the department historian to document our commander, department commander, the Department of Wisconsin commander, and document his travels throughout the state as his year of travels.
Okay, so that takes care of that, Dwayne, and you...
Okay, so far we have covered a lot of topics that would be concerns of the veterans. In your research for this show, did you by any chance find out a local concern?
Yes, Dwayne, I checked with our local county veteran service office. I asked what was the number one question and or concerns of our local veterans. Not surprising, enrollment with the Veterans Administration healthcare. However, the one thing that kind of took me by surprise was inquiries about Agent Orange and Gulf War syndrome.
Okay, and if memory serves me, didn't we cover Agent Orange in an earlier show?
Yeah, well, we have, but it doesn't hurt to review that subject since it seems to be a concern with our local veterans.
Okay, so I guess our basic question would be, first of all, what is Agent Orange?
Well, let's go to the book. Agent Orange is a blend of tactical herbicides the U.S. military sprayed from 1962 to 1971 during Operation Ranch Hand in the Vietnam War to remove trees and dense tropical foliage that provided cover for the enemy.
So, did it have an orange color?
See, that's the misconception. No. The name comes from the 55-gallon drums the herbicide was stored in barrels that had a bright orange band. For all things, you think about it, is for the safety of the handlers, so it wouldn't be confused with other harmful substances. The herbicide was mainly sprayed by aircraft, but in certain areas, like the base I was stationed at, was sprayed by hand from barrels located on trucks.
Okay. When did the government finally acknowledge that Agent Orange was harmful?
Well, in 1990, a report from the Secretary of the United States Department of Veterans Affairs found that the military knew Agent Orange was harmful to personnel and that they took very little precautions. Then, in 1991, President George H.W. Bush signed into law the Agent Orange Act. This mandated that some diseases associated with exposure to Agent Orange and other herbicides included non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, soft tissue sarcoma, and cloacarine. Be treated as a result of wartime service. So now it took 20 years after its use to deem it dangerous to our soldiers. And what's surprising is even though the Army had this herbicide developed in 1943.
Wow. So how many diseases are considered presumptuous with exposure to Agent Orange?
Well, I found the number, been looking for a number to be 15. So the best thing a Vietnam veteran with any kind of cancer, heart disease, lung disease, is to check with your local county veteran service office for an appointment to discuss and research your health issues.
Okay, well, 15, and who knows, there may be more, or they may find more in the future. There must be some eligibility requirements for this exposure.
Yes, and as far as that number goes, yes, there's other researches that are going on, so that, again, if you have a question, please contact your county veteran service office, make an appointment, and discuss those. Yes, your eligibility requires service in Vietnam from January 9th, 1962 to May 7th, 1975. Now, this is important. This would include brief visits ashore, service aboard a ship operating inland of Vietnam, vessels operating not more than 12 nautical miles in the waters of Vietnam and Cambodia, in or near the Korean demilitarized zone of Korea from April 1st, 1968 to August 31st, and regular perimeter duty on the fenced-in perimeters of U.S. Army bases in Thailand or a Royal Thai Air Force base. So what we're saying,
Not just Vietnam.
exactly, you may, again, when we gave that short list, please check with your veteran service office and go over your service time.
Okay, so when in doubt, call your veteran service office, and locally, that number would be 920-459-3053. So also, we covered just the highlights of the Agent Orange illness. However, you mentioned another illness of deployed troops in the beginning of the show.
Yes, I mentioned the Gulf War Syndrome.
Would this be another issue like Agent Orange?
Well, there's a lot of similarities. Let me explain. This is through the Veterans Administration. It's their definition. Gulf War Syndrome or Gulf War illness is a chronic and multi-symptomatic disorder affecting returning military veterans of the 1990 to 1991 Persian Gulf War. Now, there's a wide range of acute and chronic symptoms have been linked, and they're including fatigue, muscle pain, congenital problems, insomnia, rashes, and diarrhea.
Was it caused by a herbicide?
Well, again, this is right from the Veterans Administration. Possible causes are chemical warfare agents, particularly nerve gas, of all things, or a bromide to treat and break down of muscle use. Now, this bromide was given in a vaccination form as a preventive measure to soldiers who are likely to be exposed to chemical warfare agents. Psychological factors such as post-traumatic stress disorder, which we uncover, is also associated with the Gulf War Syndrome. Now, this is, again, right from the first page of the Veterans Administration under Gulf War Syndrome. The VA presently does not associate the use of the bromide, remember that's the bromide that were given to soldiers as a preventative,
Okay.
with any chronic multi-system illnesses. However, Gulf War veterans should still file a claim. There were other chemical exposures such as oil well fires set off by the Iraqi army, which caused huge plumes of black smoke, causing many health issues. Stockpiles of chemical and biological storage areas were destroyed by aircraft, sending these chemicals airborne. And believe it or not, we're back to this. However, pesticides were used to control exotic insects. Now, this is just to name a few of these exposures or what was going on at that time.
Okay, all right. So it seems much of these exposures were underreported, and now these veterans are reporting illnesses that are very uncommon and in some cases rare, but seems to affect Gulf War veterans more than just the average citizen.
That's right, Dwayne. However, unlike their Vietnam brothers and sisters, the reports are coming in sooner than the Vietnam veterans reported.
Okay, good. So if you served in the Gulf War and are experiencing strange and unusual illnesses, make sure to contact your county veteran service office for assistance.
Yes, and the more that veterans do this, maybe the VA will finally decide that these exposures are presumptive to service in the Gulf War.
Okay. So that concludes our segment, and we really need the help of our viewers to contact us about having other issues that may be of their concern that we can research and come up with things to talk about.
It's a pretty big item. The topic came in by accident as I made a visit to the Veteran Service Office in Sheboygan Falls, and it just dawned on me while I was there, well, what are the concerns and what are the number one concerns? And surprisingly, this was brought up, so I thought, well, if it's that much to them, maybe we ought to get it out a little bit more. So again, folks know how to get a hold of us. I know you do because I've heard from some of you, and I know Dwayne has heard from one or two.
Right.
So don't hesitate. We'll look into it and try to find out more for you. So in the meantime, please stay safe and stay healthy.